In this lesson, we're going to take a look at different ways we can view our document within Microsoft Word. Word on the ribbon interface includes a View tab. So if we go over to the View tab, we'll see what some of the different options are. In the Document Views group, you'll notice that by default, Microsoft Word puts you into a print layout view. This is probably the most common view for a document that you would be using within Microsoft Word. And the reason is the print layout view shows you here in your document window the actual document as it's going to be printed on a printer. So what you see is basically what you get here in the print layout view. So your finished document, which is typically printed, the print layout view is your best choice for viewing your document within Microsoft Word. Some of the other views that you have different purposes. The next view over, the full screen reading view, if you click on that, you'll notice it opens up like a book. So you would see, for instance, your first page on the left-hand side and the second page on the right-hand side. And gives you a reading view like you're reading a book. So if you have a long document and you like the book style for viewing your document so that for easy reading, this is the view that you would use. It is a separate window altogether, so you do have to close it up here by clicking on the close button, and that'll put you back into the previous view that you were in. The next view here, the web layout view, that's handy if you're creating documents within Microsoft Word that you later intend to be content on the web. So Microsoft Word does allow you to save your document as a web page. So prior to actually saving it as a web page, you might want to go to web layout view and see exactly what your document might look like in a browser. So the web layout view gives you that kind of a view. The other two views, outline and draft, aren't really used all that often. Draft view doesn't show you some of the things that you normally see in print layout view. So it gives you supposedly quicker editing by allowing you to ignore those things that aren't really important. Outline view, if your document is intended to be an outline of some sort, you can quickly go into outline view and view your document as an outline. In this case, our document really is not meant to be an outline, so it kind of changes it into a view that isn't very useful. This is also a separate window, so we need to close it as well. And when we do, we go back to our document. Now you'll notice that in this case, once we closed it from that outline view, it went back to the Home tab for some reason. So if we go back to the View tab, we'll look at a couple of other little options here when it comes to the Zoom group in a bit. I just wanted to point out here, as far as our document views go, that you have another way of looking at the document views or getting to those different document views. If I'm on, say, the Insert tab because I want to insert stuff into my document, I can still change views without going to the View tab on my ribbon. Down here in my status bar, there is a quick access toolbar for just the different views. So the first one on the left is print, followed by full screen reading, followed by web layout, followed by outline and draft, etc. So if I wanted to quickly see what my document looks like on the web, click the web view or go back quickly to the print layout view. On my View tab, some other options that you see here in the Zoom group allow me to zoom my document, either zoom it in or zoom it out. Also some quick ones. One here is a single page zoom. So you might look at a single page, you might look at 2 pages. The page width one zooms the document to the full width of the screen. So it gives you probably the largest view possible of your document. And then of course there's a quick button to take it back to 100%. The zoom button here opens up a zoom dialog box which gives you additional zoom features. You can change the percentage here incrementally by hitting the spinner control up or down arrows, or you can type in a custom zoom, say 300%, and it will zoom to 300%. You can also quickly go back to 100% here, page width, text width, whole page, etc. Many pages, you can select that as well. So lots of different zoom options. Again, if you're on a different tab, say the Insert tab, down here in your status bar is a little zoom control. It's something called the slider control, and so the slider here is this little guy in the middle, and if you click and drag that either to the left, you zoom out rather on a document, so it gets smaller and smaller and goes into one-page view, two-page view, or even in this case a three-page view. If you go to the right, of course, it enlarges and zooms in on your document, and it increases the size of your document. Okay, so those are the zoom controls. One final thing I want to talk about here as far as viewing your document. When we place our insertion control here, say in the third paragraph, for instance, all of those things that we did, zooming in and out, changing the view, doesn't really change the insertion point here in our document. So the blinking cursor location does not change simply because we zoom in, zoom out, or move about in our document using, say, for instance, the scroll bar. So if I use the scroll bar here by clicking and dragging on the scroll button over here, my insertion point doesn't change. My view changes because I'm viewing additional pages here, for example, but I'm not, the actual insertion point hasn't changed at all. The insertion point is still up here in the third paragraph. The other thing I can do when scrolling is there's a little down arrow here at the bottom of the scroll bar. If I click on that, it'll scroll one line at a time. The up arrow, of course, does the opposite, one arrow up. If I click off of the button but within the scroll bar, in this case, Word basically scrolls about half a page at a time when I click in those blank spots in the scroll bar. And finally, when we look down here below the scroll bar, we have two buttons. In this case, the top one says previous page, so it would take us to the previous page. The bottom one says next page, so if I click on that button, that takes me to the next page. Click it again, takes me to the next page. Click the up arrow button here, takes me to the previous page, and so on. Now I can change the function of these two buttons by this middle circular button here, and that says select the browse object. So if I select that and say select browse by graphic, then that changes the function of these two buttons. If the up arrow is clicked, takes to the previous graphic image. If the down arrow is clicked, it'll take you to the next graphic image. So you can select the object that you're actually browsing with those two buttons based upon what you select here in the Browse By options. By default, it is Browse By Page, and probably that's what you want to keep it on for now, is simply make these buttons just go up and down, page up and page down. So that's the different ways that you can view a document and also We took a look at some of the zoom controls and also how we can scroll within our document.